So Insomniac Games, the developers of Spider-Man Miles Morales, have treated us to some new info regarding the upcoming release. So the creative director on Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales has spoken out about what we can expect from the upcoming game. Once again clarifying that this is a standalone game that lets players experience the rise of Miles Morales as he discovers his new powers that set him apart from his mentor Peter Parker. Horton also took the time to elaborate on what we can expect. So Insomniac Games have had a fondness for Miles Morales for a very long time now, and it started way early on in Marvel Spider-Man's development when Brian Intihar, the creative director on the first Marvel Spider-Man game, suggested that Miles Morales should have been included in the same universe as Peter Parker, so they kind of wanted to introduce this at the end of the E3 demo. But they didn't just want to do Miles Morales' origins in another Peter Parker game, they wanted Miles' origins to be covered in their very own game, to reflect the more diverse and multicultural background of Miles Morales, with distinctive villains and quests of its own still taking place in the Marvel version of New York City. The game will take place in the winter, about a year after the events of the previous game, and New York is covered in snow. It's just before the Christmas break, things are getting festive, and there is a war in New York City between an energy corporation and a high-tech criminal army, and Miles' new home in Harlem is at the very heart of that battle. Horton also clarified the overall size of the game, stating that the team at Insomniac has been working extremely hard to bring you a fantastic Miles Morales adventure since they concluded development on Marvel's Spider-Man, so they would have started working on this very shortly after Marvel's Spider-Man was finished. This will be a full-length story arc with Miles, so it's not going to be, say, the length of the DLCs of the first game, but instead more along the lines of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy in terms of its overall scope. Horton also stated that Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales is an important and essential chapter in expanding the Marvel Spider-Man universe. The game will demonstrate the power of the PlayStation 5, so I guess there probably won't be a PlayStation 4 release for this one. And we can expect the near-instant load time of the PlayStation 4's solid-state drive, the ray tracing and the graphical capabilities, 3D audio where available, and it will make use of the new DualSense controller. All of the character models have been upgraded with 4D scans and improved skin shading for more realistic-looking characters and spline-based hair that moves far more naturally, so it will be less clumpy-looking than it was in Spider-Man PlayStation 4. To some degree, we've already seen this, as Miles' hair in the trailer for Spider-Man PS5 looks a lot better than it did in Spider-Man PS4. However, reveal trailers often look quite a bit better than the final product because they do have to scale back on certain things the bigger the game gets. But what we've seen could come as some indication as to what we can expect. The environment and the city has also been graphically upgraded. Horton also reassured Peter Parker fans that Peter Parker is not going anywhere. He said, "Don't worry, we still have much of Peter Parker's story left to tell, but this game here is all about Miles, who will be a critical part of their Spider-Man universe." I've also displayed some concept art for the game, one of which shows the two Spider-Men swinging side by side, so that could be a treat. Maybe to a significantly lesser extent than Miles, maybe Peter's Spider-Man will be playable briefly, just like how Miles was briefly playable in Spider-Man PS4. Hopefully it won't just be for stealth missions though, as Peter does at least have abilities. There'd be no reason to limit him like that. At the same time though, I think it's a great idea for them to just stick to this being a completely devoted Miles Morales game. But things are sounding good. It does sound like this is going to be a bit of a smaller game than the previous one before it, but there's definitely nothing to say that it's just going to be a bolted add-on to a remaster of the original. And I think if they were remastering the original Spider-Man PlayStation 4 game, I think we would know about it. What do you think, guys? Comment below and discuss, and as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, why don't you head over to channelpup.net, where you can visit our blog page Dr. Blogtopus, but you can also buy merch, such as the official Channel Pup replica hoodie. And I mean, if you insist here, guys. Maybe hit subscribe, maybe hit the like button, and in the description below are the links to my social media handles, including the Patreon, where your contribution can help me run this channel, and really keep it alive. That aside, I am really grateful that you checked out this video today. Thank you so much for watching, fellow home dog. See you on another video.